5 minutes of questions. Ms. Maher, your public statements and social media posts reflect left-wing ideology and blatant opposition to free speech. After all, you were the head of Wikipedia for many years, which is a platform that doesn't tell the truth. Let's walk through some of your statements so the public can understand your personal views. You said your fellow Americans just elected Donald Trump as president again this past November. You called him a deranged racist and sociopath. You posted on X that America is addicted to white supremacy. It's appalling. You've publicly chastised using the phrase boy and girl, which you said erases the language for non-binary people. There's only 2 genders, by the way. Ms. Maher, the federal funding that your outlet receives comes from all American taxpayer dollars, not just from your viewers who support such statements as these. Let me inform you, and that your federal funding is also paid for by the other half of the country, the 77 million Americans who voted for President Trump, someone you called a deranged, racist sociopath. Ms. Maher, many find your pro-censorship and anti-free speech views more concerning than your politics. The only speech you like seems to be speech that you agree with. In 2021, you called the First Amendment the #1 challenge in American journalism because it makes it hard to crack down on bad information. You said in a TED Talk that our reverence for the truth might be a distraction. You've also expressed support for deplatforming individuals you view as fascist. Who do you think should be charged with cracking down on so-called bad information? Is it NPR? Is it the government? Is it you, Ms. Maher?
What just happened in Congress has everyone talking. Marjorie Taylor Greene just went head-to-head with NPR CEO Katherine Maher, and the accusations? Explosive. From claims of government-backed censorship to taxpayer-funded political bias, this hearing pulled no punches. Stick around, because we're breaking down every fiery moment, what it means for free speech, and why this clash could have bigger implications than you think. It all started with Greene laying into Maher's past, especially her time at Wikipedia. MTG slammed her for what she called left-wing ideology and cited past tweets where Maher called Trump a deranged racist sociopath and said America was addicted to white supremacy. Greene didn't hold back, questioning whether someone with those views should lead a federally funded media outlet like NPR.
Congresswoman, Madam Chair, thank you so much for the opportunity to address this. I know.
Is it up to you and NPR to crack down on bad information or decide the truth? Answer the question, yes or no, Ms. Maher.
Absolutely not. I'm a very strong believer in free speech, and I believe that more speech.
Your public statements say otherwise. Ms. Maher, in 2021, when speaking at an Atlantic Council event, you said that when you were CEO of Wikipedia, you took a very active approach to disinformation and misinformation. During the COVID pandemic and the 2020 election, you said you censored information through conversations with government. Which governments were those, Ms. Maher? The Biden administration, yes or no?
Madam Chair, Wikipedia never censored any information.
These are your public statements, Ms. Maher. Ms. Maher, are you familiar with Section 399B of the Communications Act? It prohibits non-commercial education broadcast stations, NCEs, from airing commercials on behalf of for-profit entities. The FCC recently opened an investigation into the underwriting announcements and related policies of NPR and PBS. Does NPR air commercials for for-profit entities, Ms. Maher? Yes or no?
Madam Chair, we are in full compliance with the FCC's inquiry and will continue to cooperate.
I remind you, you're under oath, and violations of the Communications Act comes with a fine up to $10,000 and possibly up to a year in prison. Does PBS air for-profit commercials, Ms. Kruger?
We air underwriting announcements, and we believe we are in full compliance with the FCC, and we look forward to delivering the material required in this part of this investigation.
We look forward to that, too. I'm assuming you're concerned, both of you are concerned about this, and that's why you brought so many attorneys with you today. Ms. Kruger, using taxpayer subsidies, PBS funded Independent Lens to make documentaries for part of your programming. In 2016, Real Boy was aired about a trans teen navigating adolescent sobriety and the ramification of his gender identity. In 2022, the same series aired Our League, in which a trans woman comes to her old school Ohio bowling league in a story about transition. Then in 2024, Erase This Trees was aired, telling a story of how in Palm Springs, a black neighborhood fights to remove a divisive wall of trees. Do you think PBS needs to fund ridiculous material such as this that the taxpayers are having to pay for?
These are documentary films that are point of view pieces that are part of our primetime schedule for adults.
And parents and adults don't trust that type of programming.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I ask a unanimous.
Then came the heavy part, censorship. MTG quoted Maher from a TED Talk where she called the First Amendment a challenge to journalism. According to Greene, that's code for cracking down on speech she disagrees with. Maher pushed back hard, saying she's a strong believer in free speech. But Greene pressed on demanding to know if Maher or NPR had ever worked with the Biden administration to flag or suppress information. Greene also brought up Maher's work during the COVID pandemic at Wikipedia, suggesting she coordinated with government agencies to censor information. When asked if that included the Biden administration, Maher said Wikipedia never censored any information. But Greene shot back, citing Maher's own statements at an Atlantic Council event. This back and forth got tense fast. It didn't stop there. MTG challenged whether NPR and PBS violated the Communications Act by airing commercial content, which is banned for non-commercial broadcasters. She also called out PBS for airing political documentaries with taxpayer dollars, questioning their agenda. PBS leadership defended the programming as part of their primetime lineup for adults, but MTG wasn't buying it. Quick pause if you're into deep dives, unfiltered takes, and holding media power to account. Smash that subscribe button. We're just getting started. The big picture here? This wasn't just a political grilling. It was a debate over who controls the narrative in American media and whether federal dollars are supporting partisan messaging. Whether you agree with Greene or not, her line of questioning is sparking a national debate on transparency, trust, and censorship in public broadcasting. So, did Marjorie Taylor Greene expose government-linked censorship, or was this all political theater? Let's hear your take in the comments. Should NPR and PBS be held to a higher standard when funded by taxpayers? Drop a like if you found this breakdown helpful. Share with a friend who needs to see this. And don't forget, hit subscribe for more updates as this story unfolds.